What's going on, people? Let's talk about San Diego Comic-Con, right? Because it's coming up real soon. I think it starts in like 2 weeks, something like that. Almost exactly. Yeah, actually, yeah, that is right. Well, it kicks off on the Thursday for the most part, though Wednesday is preview night. So either way. Yeah, I was just talking about like a bunch of Ninja Turtles things and whatnot. Talking about this book and some shoes or whatever. So it's on my mind as a topic that I wanted to get into, and since timing wise it's coming around, figure you know what, and I'm somewhat dressed for like a talking about this sort of thing. Figure you know what, I'm just gonna knock that out real quick too, because why not? So, for people who don't really know or whatever what that is, I'm sure everybody's seen those comic conventions near you or whatever, where people are all dressed up doing the whole cosplay type thing. There's a lot of that going on, but it's also the thing where a lot of like the big Marvel things and DC things, or like Walking Dead, or all that stuff where they talk about like, oh, these are the new season and who's gonna be in this and what movie timeline we have for 2019, all that stuff. That's generally where it comes out, right? So it's kind of like the WrestleMania in a way for other stuff, for pop culture, I guess that's what you could call it, under that umbrella perhaps. And much like WrestleMania, it does have its own little repetition in there, because there are certain things that you'll see there that, like panels and such, that will happen in other places. It's not the only time you can go and meet like Kevin Eastman and get some stuff signed, right? There will be other things. Same way that at WrestleMania you'll see a couple little matches in that are very similar to the card, like leading up to it at the house shows. Or they'll have Backlash where like half the card is also just rematches. Either way, it's just that when you go there, again, it's like this huge, larger than life thing, and it's like, wow, all the pageantry and whatnot, right? All the flash and pizzazz. And occasionally John Cena. So there is that, right? But I like it, it's cool. I've been going since 2013 was my first year. Yeah, 2013 was my first year. And it's hard to get tickets, it is, right? Because that back then, and even still, like, there's this queue-based web page where you get on there and you just kind of hope that your little dude gets to like the front of the line and before tickets sell out, right? But the first time I did that, back in I guess 2012 for the 2013 show, I was like on there just trying to get tickets or whatever, and it's like, oh, don't refresh the page because, as those queue websites are, don't refresh the page, don't navigate away from it because you'll lose your spot. But the thing seemed like it froze because it hadn't moved in forever. Then I hit refresh, and all of a sudden, like, now my counter starts going, right? And it's like, okay, you have like X people in front of you. Now X minus Y. Now X minus Y minus 3, And I'm like, okay, like, it keeps just going down and down. I'm like, all right, this is looking like it might actually happen. So I ended up getting in there, getting some tickets, even got the preview night that year, and I was like, well, that worked out all right. And then you go and you find out that it is like one of the most expensive things, right? The ticket price, the entry, sure, whatever. It's like 300, I think it was. I don't know. But hotels in San Diego, that's like, that was like, I think of my upcoming one is almost $300 a night, right? I'm going to be there for several nights. So you got that. You got to eat while you're there. So that's happening. But what also sucks about that, past it being expensive, is like you spend like practically like no time in this hotel room because you're like out doing all this stuff all day. You get home and then you just like go to sleep and you wake up and you do it all over again. Like sometimes super early in the morning. Like if you want to get in line for like an AJ Styles signing that I did like in, I think that's 2016 or 17, right? So I'm out there at the convention center like 6 in the morning or something ridiculous, so I can like get in at 9 and like rush down there, only to find out that nobody else cared, and it was just like me and my friend just like down there like, oh my, are you guys doing it? Are you? So, oh yeah, here's your tickets. Like, is anybody else coming? I was like, yeah, other people might show up later, I don't know. So yeah, but all in all though, past that, it is like one of the best times, right? Like I go out there, I get to see all this stuff, whether it's like Rocko's Modern Life things or Transformers things, finding about like what's coming up in like the next run of like Spider-Man comics, and oh, here's this thing about not Ninja Turtles, like G.I. Joe and Transformers that's going on. So you get to like find out all this stuff. It's like straight from the people, you know. I even went to a couple years ago. They had an AEW thing that was pretty interesting, you know. Looking at it now, it's like they haven't done one since, so I don't know what happened with that. But it was a good time, you know. Got to see CM Punk live, right? That doesn't happen very often. And then of course the exclusives, right? The different figures and stuff. Because I buy my share of action figures. I think a lot of people know that. And when you're out there, it's one thing to see an email from Big Bad Toy Store or Entertainment Earth, and they show you this thing, you're like, oh, that'd be cool to have. But when you're there and you see this thing, it's like 1 of 1,000. Like you got to get it right now. It's like, man, like I can't think about this. I got to just get it because it seems awesome. And I think future Tristan will be proud of me for doing this right now. So I'm just gonna get it. A lot of impulse buys happen out there. I mean, I got some kind of gold foil Spawn comic over there where it's like if you spent $300 at the DC booth, you got that. And I was spending like 200, and I was like, I feel like I should just spend the extra 100 and get this other thing that I kind of want. But then I also get this comic that I do want, right? Yeah, it's a trap. It is. But past that, if you're into like all that types of stuff, like again, like the different panels that you can go to, they're not all huge, right? Sometimes they're smaller ones, but they have maybe well-known comic book artists or something, and they'll have a panel where they're just like drawing and like walking you through it, and you can like watch it on the big screen as they're doing all the penmanship and stuff, right? Or you can go through the signings and all that, or you can just walk through and do some of the various events they have set up outside. They had an Assassin's Creed obstacle course set up one year. They had a Borderlands laser tag thing. Like, they have a lot of stuff going on, right? It's a lot to take in. It really is. But as much as like it might sound kind of negative in some ways when I talk about like all the hassle and whatnot of getting there, like if you can get there and you can do it, like you're gonna want to go back and you're gonna overlook all those things that like are kind of like negatives, because overall just being out there, it's just a good time, man. So I don't know what all is on the agenda for this year. In the past, I used to like seeing like the Marvel things. So they talk about like the movie releases and they bring out the cast. Like I went one year and they showed like the Black Panther cast and the Blade cast and something else for like the first time, you know. Went once. I saw like the DC. They had it in Hall H. Like what was it? The year that Wonder Woman 1 was coming out. Like so they were previewing that, and they were in this huge room. There's like this screen that like wraps all the way around it. Well, not all the way, but like halfway across this wall to halfway across this wall. And you're just watching this huge fight scene that's playing out in this big panoramic view. They're like shooting arrows, and you can like watch it go around the room, but there's still other stuff happening. Yeah, it was really crazy, right? And then I think that was also the year they showed off Doctor Strange for the first time, and he just like walked out of like nowhere in some cloud of smoke or something. Yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff that happens. So if you get the option to go, I would definitely like do it, even if it's just like, you know what, I'm just gonna do this the one time because it is pricey or whatever. Do it, knock it off the list. And if you can't do that, I get it. There are other things with less pageantry and whatnot, but that also comes with like a lower price tag to entry and a lot less work for entry as well. Because let's see, I can't think of what the names of them are, but there's that one that the Comic-Con people do that's in Anaheim, WonderCon, that one. There's also like the Wizard Cons and like the Galaxy Cons and just probably various normal small ones like in near whatever city you live in or whatever. Because I've seen some of those out here in like the Tidewater ones, or Galaxy Con comes to Richmond and also to Raleigh. So there's that. Speaking of Raleigh's Galaxy Con, there is somebody that I want to meet. Well, not meet, but like get stuff signed from, because they make some really cool Marvel covers that I've seen, and they're doing a signing, so it'd be cool to be there for that. But that's like the exact week of Comic Con, so that won't be happening. But sometimes people do mail-in things, like where you can like mail in cards or comics or whatever, and like they'll sign it and mail it back to you. I know I saw that a lot with like wrestling stuff. Sting was doing one a little while ago, Mick Foley. So in case you're like into getting stuff signed and you can't go to these places, keep your eyes out for things like that, because that can be super helpful. So yeah, just wanted to sit here, ramble on a little bit about my upcoming Comic-Con trip, and I'll probably like consider saying something about it later. I throw consider in there because that way it makes it where I'm not like tied to do this. Because if I said, yeah, I'm going to do this, then it's out there and like now I have to. I don't want to leave myself a way out. I don't want to back myself into a corner now, do I? So anyway, there's that. Got some questions, you can leave those on down below or whatever. From me to you, have a nice rest of your day or rest of your night, whatever it is, wherever you are. I'm going to knock out this little on feet thing real quick. Go to work and yeah, then probably come home and edit a couple videos. That's going to be my day. What's your day looking like? Later, people.